exposure we can get for this, the better. I mean, I guess I should explain that there may be some kind of confusion here. In some people's eyes, I was talking to another magazine today. So it is just to say that my background is as a researcher and producer for music documentaries over the years, and as a music journalist and as a music author. I wrote the biography of Procol Harum, The Ghosts of a White Shed of Pale, and I've written for Record Collector and worked on the series Classic Albums and done lots of Channel 4's music nights and done a lot of punk programs. I did, and I also have a radio series on Resonance FM, which I'm taking a rest from at the moment. But I interviewed every major musician you can think of, just about from the world that I like, from psychedelia, soul, punk, jazz. So if you like, the people that are running the campaign, along with me, we're all very keen music aficionados professionally, if you like. So it was really, we're making a film to save Denmark Street.
Mm-hmm.
Hello? Hello? Oh, I lost you there. Yep.
Yeah, you made a funny clunking noise. It suddenly sounded as if you put your head in a bucket.
Oh, gosh. It could just be the signal here. It's. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Great.
I'll phone you. If we do get cut off at any point, I'll phone you straight back. But
okay.
Hang on a sec. Karina, can I have the light again, please, love? Carry on, please.
So, 2 years ago, I set up the Save Denmark Street campaign because I could see that the public were not being made aware of what the developers were doing. And the crucial part of this story is that the developer is also the landlord. And the landlord is also the freeholder. So it's a developer, landlord, freeholder. Interesting combination, that. And can you imagine the ramifications for the leaseholders? So they say they want to keep music in Denmark Street too, and that they see us as an annoyance, and have gone out of their way to try and slur us and accused us of putting the squatters in the 12 Bar Club, which we had nothing to do with. And they threatened to take me to court, and I went to court anyway, because they had no gravity in their accusation, other than the fact that some of the squatters told them that we had put them in there, which was a lie. So I went to court last year and stood up as an independent witness, neither for the squatters nor against them, to let the public be told that I had been phoned up by a developer who said, unquote, "You will never work in the music industry again." That's the kind of dirty old Soho bully boy tactics that a £400 million development are utilising against people who want to tell the truth. And the truth is that all the music businesses above the shops on the north side have now vacated. And they have vacated because their break clauses were exercised by a landlord who says he wants to bring them back to the street after the developments have taken place. Well, that's in 2 to 5 years. There's no chance any of these will be returning because the plans are mainly earmarked for hotels and apartments. And they're putting this magic word music in front of the word hotel, and music in front of the word apartment, and music in the front of restaurants. What the public should know is that these are the developers that not only closed the marquee in Wardour Street, but the developers who then closed the next one, the famous one, in Charing Cross Road, and sold that to Wetherspoons. In Wardour Street, it also became a hotel at the back, the Soho Hotel. Upstairs, the Soho Loft Apartments, and at ground level, a restaurant. This is their history. This is their legacy, and this is what they will do to Denmark Street, even though we've managed to put protections in place. And this is the lie that hasn't been told and needs to be told. So if you can get this out there, that would be great.
Well, very much so. I got involved in this back 18 months ago. A friend of mine emailed me and told me, this is something you really got to write about.
Yes.
And I did it. I meant to. And then he went and died. And then when I got the email from the petition campaign.
Oh, yes, that's me. Yes, that's me as well.
I really ought to do something about this. So I dropped you a line.
Well, that's great that you've come back, and every piece of support really is crucial now, as time is running out. So we're making a film, and the really important thing is that we're making a film that won't be a campaign film, although it will show the last days of the 12 Bar Club. We're going to have 12 key voices across 100 years who've worked and lived in Denmark Street, who will be telling their tales. This will be the story of a street, not just the story of music, because the street is much more than just music, which I think a lot of people don't get. Forgive me, I'm multi-skilling here and cooking something whilst talking to you. It will be a modern-day Canterbury tale as such, and we will have a key number of people in this who have come forward through the campaign to us, people who've lived and worked in the street, the unsung heroes and the heroes. But we're crowdfunding it because it isn't going to be stuff full of celebrity, because celebrities haven't bothered to support us. So why should we bother to tell their story? We will mention them, but we're going to have the session men, the engineers, the writers, the prostitutes, the criminals, the real people who lived and worked in the street, although maybe not the criminals, I didn't take that one out, but the real people who lived and worked in the street, telling their story, in a very salient terms. And so this will be a story of real people from different skills, publishers, people who worked in the job centre, people who run guitar shops, people who are in bands, and agents, spivs, all those people. And it will be through Fundee.com. We're crowdfunding through Fundee, that's spelled PHUNDEE.com. And the way to find us is to put on Facebook Tin Pan Alley Tales. That's the really important thing. Tin Pan Alley Tales. And as I say, we need people to pledge money, and they'll get rewards of T-shirts. They can come to concert screenings, and their pledges will enable us to make an honest film without executive interference.
How long's the film project been going?
The film project has been going, we've been quietly doing it, unfunded. But, one cannot really continue that scenario because we need to pay the people who are helping make it with us. And, we need to clear copyrights on footage, archive, and the songs, of course, the songs of Denmark. So we're not looking for a large amount of money, really. We've raised 5,000 already. We need another 23,000, and we need it within the next 4 weeks, so we can move quickly. And the more money we raise, the bigger the film can be. The archive is terribly expensive. I mean, if people wanted to help us make a film, the South Bank shows, and when I worked on the South Bank show about Bernie Taupin, who wrote the lyrics for Elton John, that was a £150,000 documentary some 15 years ago.
Yeah, so we're asking. £22,000 isn't a terrible amount of money, is it?
No, it isn't really. And what I've just said to somebody else, I mean, we have to choose our words carefully here. Pete Townsend, Dave Davies, and Brian May have all expressed their support for us. But so far, not one celebrity musician has put their hand in their pocket to help support the street that began their life. If you consider that Black Sabbath, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, and the Bee Gees, and Elton John all began in Denmark Street. I mean, maybe they've overlooked the fact that this is actually being redeveloped, but you'd think that they would want to keep the only music street of its kind in the world now alive. The equivalent in New York has gone. The equivalent in Paris has gone. There are no streets of guitars left in Paris anymore, and there are no streets of guitars left in New York. And if London isn't very careful, these guitar shops, there are 11 of them left, music instrument shops, they are protected because we've managed to put quite a lot of protection in place for Denmark Street. But if people are not careful, this will change because nobody has yet re-signed, as far as we're aware. I think maybe 2 shops have signed new tenancy agreements out of the 11. And the tenancy agreements are rolling 6-month leases with 4 to 8 week break clauses. If the developers want to deny that, they can't sue you for that, then they can deny it. But that is our understanding, because we've talked to every single one of the shops. But our understanding is also this, that there is a gagging clause through a confidentiality agreement that all these new tenants who are running relatively new shops within the past 10 years have been forced to sign, so that they can't defend themselves, can't talk publicly to the press, and are having to say publicly, to keep the developer happy, oh, the campaign's actually brought a negative effect on the street. It hasn't. It's brought more people to Denmark Street than have ever gone to Denmark Street. So that's another developer lie. And I'm very angry about it, and that's why we're making this film.
What sort of time frame are you thinking about to get the film finished?
I'd like to get the film in a rough cut by January, and we'd like to get it out by April.
Have you got distribution in place? I mean, is it going to go out as a?
We would show it. We would show it to festivals first. We've had some. My problem with television is this: that most shows end up being celebrity-led, and the celebrities end up coming and telling a story that is not really the story we want to tell. You know, some people have put to us, what do you want to make, Henry, art house or commerciality? And my reply is, I want to make something that straddles both. If you look to great films like Searching for Sugarman, there was no celebrity in that film, and it won an Oscar and became one of the greatest documentaries ever made. That's kind of what we're looking to do. Having worked in television, I've been rather tired of executive bullying and the theft of ideas. And, I'm a man in my 50s. I've worked in telly all my life. And I want to make this film on my terms. I want to direct it and produce it. I've got a good crew. I've sat in over 150 edits from 1986 till now. So we really know that we can do this. And also, I know all these musicians, they trust me, but I'm meaning regular musicians at regular level, not stars. But unfortunately, we could do with help from some of the stars. But of course, getting money out of anybody in any context is always difficult. I don't know if that answers your question in a roundabout way.
Oh, yes, it did. Because I think it's not just an interesting project, it's an absolutely vital one.
I think it is. You know, some people might make a film about Denmark Street and it would just be about the guitar shops and the studios and the songwriters. This is so very much more than that. But, you know, for confidentiality, I can't reveal my hand too much because, as Churchill once said, loose lips sink ships. And in TV we say loose lips sink scripts. So, we want support. We need it now. I mean, I really do feel like Bob Geldof at Live Aid. You know, we need support from people and we need it now. And also, I'm not a man of any kind of wealth. I'm a freelancer who really is struggling to survive himself. And we really need... we can't live on air. And, if people want us to help fight to save the street, ticking a box on Facebook and ticking a box on a petition is not enough. We need... But, I also understand that, regular people probably can't afford to donate more than 10 or 20 quid. And, and that's great. We're very pleased that they've done that. But there are many people out there, the 1%, the super rich, who, to give us some support for this kind of film is chump change to them. It's, to the millionaire class. What we're looking for is just a token gesture in their eyes. And so it would be nice to see them make that token gesture to help protect the greatest music street of its kind in the world. I've probably given you a more candid interview than I've given to anyone, but I'm just so bloody fed up with them. And I said to when they were saying, oh, you put the squatters in there. Well, we know you did. You did, they said. You needn't deny it because they told us. And I said, well, it's rather funny that a man who criticizes us for using hearsay and rumor perpetuates the very thing he seeks to condemn. If you're a developer, why should we trust you when you peddle such lies to me? And how dare they, Because we actually vociferously said we thought the squatting thing was not a good idea. We went in there to see what they were up to. And they were setting fire alarms off, and but I just don't think it was a very good idea. It damaged the campaign, to be quite honest. But it's, again, forgotten, because they were here today and gone 2 weeks later, whereas we've been here consistently, or I've been here consistently, with I might add, and this is the thing that's also very important to say, that we went to Parliament before all this malarkey, and we brought in all the executive-level people from PRS, PPL, MCPS, UK Music, and we sat down with them in Parliament with Sir Keir Starmer MP. We sat down with them with Councillor Sue Vincent. We went and sat with Camden planners and had endless meetings. This is not some amateur how to be a campaigner. This is going with meeting with professionals who we brought to the table. And now you've got all these other campaigns who talk a lot of hot air, as far as I can see, who have tried to steal our executive committee and take credit for things that we've done, which I find really appalling. There are all these other music-based campaigns who really are unable to say what they've achieved. And maybe I should give you this in closing. What we have achieved is we've got grade 2-star listing for number 6 and number 7 Denmark Street, so that technically the interior cannot be touched. This does override the original planning consent, and we've got a councillor who said at our meeting, Councillor Sue Vincent, that she was going to try and overturn this protection order so that they could carry out the repairs and alterations to the inside of the building. My lawyers have told me that that's a criminal offence, because this has been given a grade 2-star listing through David Evanet, who's the head of the Department of the Environment, MP, in the Conservative government. He gave us his blessing on March 22nd, and we went all around the world. We were front page news of the Financial Times, we were a Times leader, we were in Rolling Stone, we were in the Figaro, and the Hollywood Reporter. It went right around the world that we'd saved these buildings. This was no mean feat. It took a tremendous effort with a lot of people supporting us. We've also we've also managed to, after making a lot of noise about it, keep a venue at number 26. There will be a venue, albeit underground, a small venue that will kind of replicate what the 12 Bar was. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. So at 26, we've managed to keep a music venue when it looked like there really wasn't going to be one. And they're also talking about a music venue that they're putting in there to replace what was the Astoria. This is actually a conference centre that they're building underground because it's called the Events Gallery. So, and also I might add that we've managed to kind of achieve through a Section 106 agreement, Clause 5, Paragraph 1, fairly fair rents for the existing music shops. So the music shops can thank us for deals that will give them fair rents. It was down to us and our team. I'm sure the council would like to take all the credit for this. I know they certainly had an input, but Francis Wheat, who's the head of the Environmental Services there, said to me in Parliament, this was down to you, Henry. So, anyone who wants to take that away from us, they can go and ask her.